The Valvoline Motorsport Ireland Forest Rally Championship in association with the following sponsors.
Anticipation in the air as the Valvoline Motorsport Ireland National Forestry Championship enters its second half of the season after taking a short break across the summer months. Round 4 brings us down south to beautiful Mallow to the Cork Motor Club for the Jim Walsh Cork Forest Rally.
Yes, Olive, with competitors hopefully well rested after the mid-season break, everyone was ready to dust off the helmets and don the rally suits once again as the Forestry Championship launched back into action across the woods of the Boggara Mountains. Championship leader at the halfway point of the season was local man Ger Lucy.
It was around this time last year though you were in a similar position. How do you think you're going to bag the championship?
I suppose it'll end up being the same as last year. Sam will be on a fair mission there today, so it's just hard to have legs in him.
Sam, you're fresh from taking the Triton Towers National Rally Championship win. Have you your eyes set on this one as well?
We'll give it our all here anyway. We'd love to get it, so yeah, we're here to try and get maximum points as possible, and that's what we're here for.
David, you're leading the two-wheel drive.
Yeah, well, I've had a good start to the year with 3 wins out of 3, so I'm really looking forward to today. It's been a long summer break now to get out, so I'm sure there'll be a few boys rusty in the first 2, and same as ourselves, but looking forward to getting going.
Clerk of the course, Paul Casey, and his team at the Cork Motor Club have laid on 65 kilometres of stages run in 3 loops of 2. Mount Hillary and Boing are short, fast bursts across the mountains, whilst Boggara Drive at 16 kilometres provides a sterner test for the crews. The weather started off bright and dry, but with clouds on the horizon. Intermittent showers were forecast for throughout the day, which would at least help keep the dust down. Unsurprisingly, it was top seed Sam Moffat who set the pace on the opening loop in his Fiesta WRC. The newly crowned national champion had fellow Monaghan man Dara Kelly on the notes, and the pair opened up a 30-second lead after the opening loop of 2 stages. Adrian Hetherington and Gary Nolan had been just 3 seconds off the lead after stage 1, but their Toyota Corolla broke a gear linkage on the way to stage 2 and they retired. New York construction contractor Enda McCormick was 4th after the opener in his Subaru WRC, but a fine drive on stage 2 saw the Longford native climb to 2nd place.
Into Longcrest, 100 down, turn square left around the bales, join the tar beneath, 100, turn square left around the bales, down at the arrow, easy, nice and neat now, easy, flat 6 right.
David Crossan needn't have worried about being rusty after a break, as the County Down driver was well and truly on the pace to hold 3rd overall and lead the 2-wheel drive section in his Mark II Escort. Just 1/10 of a second behind in 4th was the Mitsubishi Evo 9 of Ger Lucy and JJ Kremen. The championship leaders admitted to a cautious run across the opening 2 stages. A stall at the start line of stage 1 put Johnny Leonard on the back foot from the off, but the Enniskillen driver fought back well on stage 2 to climb from 10th to 5th overall.
Max 2 right long in late, 170. Pushing the 2 right long in late, 170. 3 left plus in 40.
Niall McCullough was campaigning a new Group N Mitsubishi, and he led the class and held 6th overall with navigator Ryan McCluskey. Tying with McCullough for 6th was Darren McKelvey, whose Group A Mitsubishi had a crank sensor problem and was misfiring above 4,000 revs. Joint Group N Championship leader Cahan McCourt held 8th overall and 2nd in class, but was concerned by an overheating engine in his Evo 9. Tied with McCourt at the top of the Group N table, Jordan Hone took a steady approach to the opening loop, having crashed out at the last round in Donegal.
So 3. Flat 1 left under a crest, okay, 40. Flat 1 left, okay, 300. Yeah. And flat 1 right, okay, 80.
Jordan, the battle for Group N is alive and kicking. How are you faring?
Yeah, we're enjoying it. It's really good stages, really fast, but sort of losing the brakes. At the end of every stage, it's pedals going very soft now, so it's tough, so it is, but we'll keep going.
With David Crossan way ahead in 3rd overall, fellow down driver John Gordon with stand-in navigator Aileen Kelly had to be content with 10th overall and the Class 13 lead. One-time regular on the forestry scene, John Reid was making a comeback to the woods and held 11th overall with James O'Brien navigating in the Toyota Corolla. Mickey Conlon had recently fitted new front suspension to his Escort and held 12th overall as he adjusted to the new setup. The junior class offered up a close battle once again in Cork, with Shane Keneally taking the early initiative to lead by just over a second in his Honda Civic.
40 flat, crest, 80, past lay-by, 3 right, into crest, 60, long 2 right dip.
Hot on his heels was the Fiesta R2 of local driver John O'Sullivan, who really needed a class win to keep his title hopes alive. Just over 10 seconds back in 3rd was another R2 Fiesta in the hands of Antrim driver Johnny Mulholland.
Johnny, you're holding 2nd in the championship at the moment, but lying in 3rd today.
Yeah, we're lying in 3rd now, about 10 seconds off 1st. We're fastest over that last stage though, so I think we're taking a bit of the time out of the top lads. So.
And how are the stages suiting you?
They're suiting us well, they're quite fast and flowing. I prefer that than the tight and twisty stuff. A bit loose in places, but the 4-wheel drive stuff cleaned it away and it's alright.
Junior Championship leader Stephen Dixon had steering arm issues with his Fiesta, and he held 4th after the opening loop. After a brief but successful foray into 4-wheel drive competition, Derek Mackerel was back in his nippy Nova and held 5th in the junior class. The M. O'Brien Plant Hire Junior 1000 class for 16 to 18-year-olds entered its final round at the Cork Forestry, and Jason Murphy was looking to seal the title with another win after a great season in the inaugural year of the category.
For anyone that would be thinking about rallying at your age, what advice would you give them?
Definitely start at this, because you always have an experienced man beside you that knows the ropes and knows everything, so it'd be a good way to start.
3rd in class after stage 1, Jason clocked in a good time for stage 2 to lead by 2 seconds in his Peugeot 107. With the word of the new class spreading fast, there were some new faces competing in Cork, and Aoife Gahan got off to a flying start in the Chevrolet Spark to lead the division after stage 1. Aoife slipped a 2nd after stage 2, but was enjoying the drive and being chauffeur-driven by Liam Brennan on the road sections.
Aoife, your first day out, how have you found it?
So much fun, really enjoying it. So last 2 stages and looking forward to them.
And what's been the best part of it so far?
Listening to Liam.
You're in safe hands with Liam.
Enjoying it now, last 2, so.
Any moments out there?
No.
Plenty.
Another newcomer to the class was Jason Gorham, who held 3rd place in the Peugeot 107.
Jason, it's your first time out in the J1000s. How have you been finding it?
Very good. It's a new learning curve. I only found out Wednesday I was doing the event, so it's all kind of come together since getting used to the notes now and stuff. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Also making his debut on the gravel stages was Andrew Burke. The Galway driver led Class 3 in his Citroën DS3.
Andrew, it's your first time to take part in the forestry. What's brought you to the forestry?
We heard a lot of good things about it, so we just wanted to give it a go and see what all the hype was about, really, you know.
And it's a big difference from being on the tarmac.
It is a big difference being on the tarmac. You know, a lot of getting used to it. The car moves around a lot more. It's just getting used to it, really. The last loop there now we're very happy with.
It's great to see so many newcomers in the woods, and with such a good turnout for the event, rally sponsor Paul O'Connor of Crafted Fitted Furniture Group was delighted to be associated for the second year running.
Paul, without a sponsor for these events, they wouldn't be taking place, so it's fantastic to see you back again this year as the sponsor of this event.
Thank you very much. It's a great part of it to be involved for ourselves and Crafted Fitted Furniture. You know, we really enjoy being a part of the sport here.
So that's how things stand after the opening loop of stages. But with 4 more tests to come, it's still all to play for here in Mallow.
Serious battles happening right down through the various classes here in Mallow at the Jim Walsh Cork Forest Rally. Sam Moffat still holding the lead at the top of the field. Lots more to come after the break. The Valvoline Motorsport Ireland Forest Rally Championship in association with the following sponsors. Welcome back to Mallow for part 2 of the CFF Group Jim Walsh Cork Forest Rally. Next up for the cruise was the first run over the Boggara Drive stage. 16 kilometres long and lined with starkly beautiful wind turbines, it proved a difficult stage for many, especially when the forecasted rain showers began to fall. With conditions more tricky and visibility affected, mishaps were more likely, and rally leader Sam Moffat clipped a rock on stage 3, puncturing the front left tyre on his Fiesta WRC. His lead was reduced to 11 seconds by the end of the stage, but was back up to 20 after a trouble-free run over stage 4. Sam, you did a few kilometres there on a punctured tyre. It's not looking the best.
No, we done about 11 kilometres on a puncture, and it was a long stage. It was long at the best of it, but it was long on the flat, and we were just glad to get through it, and thankfully we still got the lead there. We try and keep it clean for the last 2.
Third overall before the break, David Crossan was still leading the two-wheel drive brigade and had climbed to second overall as his outstanding drive in the Escort continued. Ger Lucy also improved his lot across the afternoon stages as he climbed to third place in his Mitsubishi Evo 8, a further 10 seconds off Crossan. Just 1 second back in fourth overall was the Evo 6 of Johnny Leonard, who was going well despite some brake issues and minor incidents over the long Boggara Drive test.
One right plus 60, one right okay, in 60 down, into long one left in 200 up to opening. Keep going one left long, up 200 up to opening on left.
Cahan McCourt's drive came to an end when he slid off the road in stage 3 and burst the intercooler in his Evo 9. With his brake issues sorted at service, Jordan Hone set fastest overall time on stage 3 to climb to 5th overall and take over the Group N lead. Enda McCormick had been second overall, but when the rains came on stage 3, his windscreen missed it over badly and he slipped to 6th. Another to struggle with the wet conditions was Niall McCullough, who lost the Group N lead and slipped to 7th overall after stage 4. With David Crossan in line for an overall podium award, the two-wheel drive trophy was still up for grabs, and John Gordon increased his lead over teammate Mickey Conlon to 13 seconds after 4 stages. Conlon still hadn't found the sweet spot with his new front suspension, but hadn't given up hope just yet.
Mickey, those stages aren't really suiting you.
No, well, it should be, but I still haven't got the hang of this front suspension, cars moving about a bit, but Jerry's working his magic here. You wouldn't know what had happened on the last loop. Gordon's not that far in front yet.
Championship winner in 1982, Ed Colton has been competing for 50 years, and he spoke with Olive about this impressive landmark achievement.
You're 50 years competing this year. There's been so much changes down through the years in rallying.
A lot of changes, yeah. Safety is the big aspect, and of course the speed of the cars and the amount of money. When we started competing, you drove your road car and you drove it home after the event if there was any of it left. It's all for the better, presumably, it attracts more money and more competitors and more spectators.
Spectators were certainly being treated to some fine driving throughout the day, but before we find out who came out top at this year's Cork Forest Rally, we turn to the various classes now, and on his debut drive in the J1000 class, Jason Gorham took third place with John Burke navigating in the Peugeot 107. Another debutant, Aoife Gahan, took the runner-up spot with Liam Brennan calling the notes in the Chevrolet Spark. But taking another class win, along with the inaugural J1000 Championship title, was Jason Murphy, with his uncle Matthew Murphy navigating in the Peugeot 107.
Yeah, it means an awful lot to be the first one, you know. It was an amazing year, you know, lovely people at it, and really enjoyed it.
Part of Jason's prize is a drive in an R2 car in a round of next year's championship, like this R2 Fiesta driven to 5th in the junior class by category leaders Stephen Dixon and Tommy Hayes.
And 100 out of it for 5 left push and 6 right 130. Trusted 5 left push and 6 right 130. Trusted 130 for turn square right onto tar through posts. 80.
Fourth in the junior class went to Derek Mackerel and Dara Hayes in the Vauxhall Nova. Johnny Mulholland and Jeff Case moved to within 4 points of Dixon and Hayes as they took third place in Cork. Shane Keneally and Ger Connors had been leading the class until some mechanical issues with their Honda Civic caused problems on the afternoon stages, and they had to settle for second place. Taking over the class lead to take their first win by just 3 seconds in the end was the Cork Monaghan pairing of John O'Sullivan and Kane Traynor.
John, you're taking a win here in the juniors, really mixing things up on the championship leaderboard.
Yeah, we kind of knew we had to come into intention of winning, because if we didn't, the championship was kind of over. But it was a long day, and we eventually grinded out the result anyway, and hard luck to Shane, but he was going well.
Delighted?
Oh, absolutely delighted. It's a long time coming, I can tell you.
Not quite poetry in motion at this stage 2 junction. Seamus Heaney secured the Class 1 title with his third class win of the year, with Michael Culleton navigating in the Honda Civic.
Don't cut it. And crest. Crest, only 60. 3 left before the trees. 3 left before the trees. Here it comes, here it comes.
In Class 2, Jason Dixon closed to within a point of Graham Colfer's lead with the runner-up spot in Cork.
And 5 right okay. 450 over bumps.
Cal McCarthy and Andrew Mahan took the Class 2 win and finished 16th overall in the Citroën C2 R2. Andrew Burke made a successful gravel debut, taking the Class 3 win with Colin Keegan navigating in the Citroën DS3 R3. Rory Maguire and Grace O'Brien wrapped up the Class 9 title with their third win in a row in the Vauxhall Nova. Mike Garahy won Class 10 with Niall Keane navigating in the Escort Mark II. A hotly contested Class 11F battle saw Patricia Denning and Joe Downey maintain second on the points table with 7th place in Cork. Adrian Beattie and Declan Ryan took 6th place and lead the Class 11F battle by just 4 points with 2 rounds to go. None of the podium finishers in Class 11F were registered for championship points, and taking third place in the Toyota Corolla were Paul Harrington and Cleana Murphy.
2 right, 60 late, 3 right, and long 4 right, don't cut past the lane, 1 right. 60, crest 3 left, don't cut.
Get out of it.
Just 0.4 of a second quicker to take second in the Honda Civic were Kieran Lynch and Adam Power.
250 down the middle then, bad bumps. And flat crest, 100. And whoop, yeah, boy. 1 left over crest and crest 100 square right at the bottom.
Class 11F winners Stuart McLean and Johnny Holsworth had over a minute to spare in their Vauxhall Nova. In Class 12, Michael Linehan and Tricia Hogan took third in their Ford Escort G3. Ray Benskin and Pater Walsh took the runner-up spot in their Escort Mark II. Taking the Class 12 win by a comfortable margin of 1 minute 10 seconds were Rory McCaffrey and Lauren Kelly in another Mark II. Damien McGarren put in another fine drive in his BMW 320 to take 4th in Class 13 and 15th overall with navigator Darren Curran. Another exciting driver, Owen McMacken, took 3rd in Class 13 and finished 13th overall with Lee Taylor calling the notes in the Sideways Mark II. 43 seconds ahead in 10th overall was Monaghan crew Mickey Conlon and Kieran McPhillips, who had to settle for 2nd in Class 13. John Gordon and Aileen Kelly were 17.9 seconds quicker over the 6 stages to take the Class 13 trophy and 9th overall in the Pinto-powered Escort.
And most importantly, you're home ahead of Mickey Conlon.
Yeah, we took the team honours today, so no matter where you finish, you always have to beat your teammate.
In Class 15, James and Jenna McCann took 3rd place in their Mitsubishi Evo 7. A puncture on the final stage didn't help Ed Colton's case, but the former champion held on to take 2nd in Class 15, with Claire O'Mahony calling the notes in the Evo 6. John Reid and James O'Brien were convincing winners of Class 15, finishing 11th overall in the Toyota Corolla. Seeded 11th but finishing 6th overall, Enda McCormick and Colin Fitzgerald also secured the Class 7 title with another class win in Cork. Ian Graham kept his Class 20 title hopes alive, a 3rd in class, and finished 12th overall with navigator Liam McIntyre.
Keep it on, yeah. 100 down, turn a square right. Come back now for square right. Square right at the bottom. Get on it, get in. Come back here, come back. Get in now, get in. 200 down. Go now, 200. Go, go, go. Lovely.
Darren McKelvey and Aaron Johnson took 2nd in class and finished 8th overall in another Mitsubishi Evo 9. But taking the Class 20 win in their Evo 8 were Ger Lucy and JJ Kremen, who maintained their championship lead with a 5th overall finish. In Group N, it was a frustrating event for Ashley Dixon and Lorcan Moore, who salvaged 5th in class after mechanical trouble on the opening stage. A jump start on the final stage incurred a 1-minute penalty for Conor McCourt and Caelan McKenna, who dropped to 4th in class and 17th overall. This promoted PJ O'Connor and Anthony Nestor to 3rd in class and joint 13th overall. Niall McCullough and Ryan McCluskey's debut drive in the new Mitsubishi netted 2nd in Class 4 and 7th overall. Jordan Hone moved into the Group N lead with his 2nd class win of the year, finishing 4th overall with his dad Paul navigating in the Evo 9. To the podium finishers now, and although losing a place on the final loop, it was still a sensational drive by County Down's David Crossan, who took 3rd overall, with Kerryman Damien Fleming calling the notes in the Escort Mark II. Having been hampered by some mechanical trouble early on, Johnny Leonard's Evo 6 was on song for the final 2 tests, and he cruised home to take the runner-up spot with navigator Arthur Kearns. But barring the puncture in Stage 3, it was a trouble-free run across the Boggara Mountains for Sam Moffat and Dara Kelly, who took the win by 51.4 seconds in the all-conquering Fiesta WRC.
Sam, home in 1st place. A good day in the office.
Yeah, job done, thankfully. Oh, great stage, really enjoyable, and yeah, credit to everyone, and thoroughly enjoyed it.
Johnny, 2nd overall, a phenomenal result.
Yeah, I'm happy enough for that. Yeah, we were sort of steady enough in the morning time, and we decided to up the pace a wee bit in the middle loop. I'd have settled for 2nd this morning, so I'm happy enough.
David, 3rd overall, you're making this a habit.
Yeah, delighted now. Looking at the rally today, I would have bit your arm off for 3rd overall. But yeah, what a great day. The stages were fantastic. The car never missed a beat all day. That's the first round we've had where everything just went perfectly for us. Big haul of points there with 3rd overall as well, so brilliant.
And there's confirmation of the results of the CFF Group Jim Walsh Cork Forest Rally, which sees Sam Moffat close to within 2 points of Ger Lucy with 2 rounds remaining.
With a break in the championship, some of the drivers admitted to feeling a little bit rusty behind the wheel with a lack of competitive miles clocked up under their belt. But one man who was right on the pace is Sam Moffat, and he takes a well-deserved win here in Mallow. 2 more rounds to go, lots of action to come. Do join us then.